All right, we just need one more. We got 15 people online. See one person to jump in. You just got to make 3 picks. There we go. All right, welcome Vikes for life. All right, it looks like NMB. Now, do we still see Bijan? Yeah, we still see Bijan.
We still see me, which is a smart move, even in super flex. Again, if you're really bad off at quarterback or desperate, or you just really love Bryce Young or Stroud or AR, that's fine. Bijan doesn't have to be the number 1 pick in a super flex league, but he probably should be.
Yeah. But my advice would be if you are in a rookie draft in a super flex and you have the number 1 pick and you are desperate at quarterback, I would swing a trade for either the 102, the 103, or the 104, plus another first. For maybe the person at the 2, the 3, the 4 has a good quarterback room and really wants Bijan, and you could get like the 103 and the 108, and maybe even a pick next year. Get yourself that quarterback. Get yourself a good young, wide receiver or running back or whatever. But if not, I'm taking Bijan.
Yeah. And that's glad you mentioned trading. That's another thing. What if you Bijan should be the number 1 pick? And of course, you can't even say you don't need Bijan. Everyone needs this franchise running back. But let's say you think you could get more because you're good. Maybe you already have 2 stud running backs. Maybe you can get more value by trading that pick and getting a future pick or getting another, position or something. Do it. Leverage, that benefit you have, because right before draft time and during draft time, that's when the best offers come in.
Yes.
All right. So I did go Bryce Young because super flex, I think it's just so valuable, and practicing what I preach, that's going to be a thing for me this year, is actually following through and showing and doing exactly what I say is the best thing to do, because, sometimes your biases get the best of you or you kind of back out or whatever. But I'm saying in a super flex league, I just finished saying you can never have too many starting quarterbacks if they're a franchise quarterback, and we don't know yet on Bryce Young, but pretty good chance he doesn't flop. And even if I say I don't need him to start every single week, I can use one of my quarterbacks as trade bait.
Yeah, I can't argue with Bryce Young at the 4. To me, it's Bijan, the 3 quarterbacks, and then you can start arguing whether you want JSN, Gibbs, Addison, Flowers, Johnston. Then you can start kind of arguing there. I have Kendrick Miller in that same tier. I know I'm probably alone on that, but that's because Kendrick Miller is awesome. Nobody realizes it yet, and he landed in a great spot. That's all.
He did land in a good spot, that's for sure. And I think we'll see the. Oh, there you go. I was going to say I'm not going to take Jaden Reed twice in one day, am I? But I'm not. Miller definitely a guy. And it's funny because Miller now going ahead of Charbonnet, but you always liked Miller. It wasn't just because of landing spot. You were always on him.
He was my RB3. I'll tell you guys my rankings, my top 5 pre-draft was Bijan, of course. My running backs was Bijan, Charbonnet, Miller, Gibbs, Izzy. Obviously, that's changed drastically since the draft because Izzy has dropped a lot, and so has Charbonnet. But Kendrick Miller is awesome. I mean, one of the best running backs in yards after contact. He didn't do any athletic testing because he had the MCL sprain, but his home run speed, he probably would have run a low 4.4 if he actually ran. He's over 215 pounds. He can catch the ball. He's great. He's fantastic. And now he's competing with 28-year-old Jamal Williams, who, if he hadn't scored 17 touchdowns last year, no one would care about at all because he did nothing else. It's not like he ran for 1,000 yards or did anything else of consequence. He just scored a bunch of touchdowns. And 28-year-old Alvin Kamara, who's probably going to be suspended. And let's be real. Alvin Kamara has not been very good the last 2 years anyways. So he's got a clear path to taking that backfield over. And unlike a guy like Tyler Algier, who just got demolished by Bijan Robinson, he won't get demolished. He's got the draft capital. Not that it was the greatest draft capital, but he's got good enough draft capital, and he's good enough that he'll hold on to that job.
Yeah, and on a team that did have other needs, right? It's not like they were a playoff team, and yeah, they signed Carr, and I guess they feel they're okay at receiver, and man, they could have used a lot more offensive line help, I think, in the draft. But the fact that they addressed running back, in one of the first few rounds, I think that signals that they're definitely considering making him the featured back, not handing it to him. It's not first round. I know this, but yeah. All right, you're up.
Yeah, these have actually been pretty easy picks for me.
Well, there you got your guy there.
Yeah, getting my guys.
And I feel like maybe because we just came off of one, but I feel like this ADP is going to resemble a lot more like what most of your drafts are.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, people, it's like you get the practice one out of the way.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, I wouldn't even have been opposed to taking 2 quarterbacks in the same rookie draft in a super flex league. If Hooker was still there, I might have jumped on that.
Yeah, Hooker's definitely a guy. If I was in one of my super flex rookie drafts and I needed a QB, I probably would take him over Tillman there.
Yeah, if you need a QB, of course, for next year, not this year.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting because they did draft him. I was like, oh, they're replacing Goff. Now they're like, yeah, we're going to give Goff this big fat extension, I think. It's like, make up your mind.
Well, I have heard that, but I don't know.
That
would obviously kill Hooker's value.
They're thinking about it. I feel like Chase Brown, like I'm looking at opportunity because like if Mixon does turn to dust soon and P. Ryan's gone and like he gets a shot, but I don't know. Every time I see Chase Brown, like he's super athletic and I think he's a good runner, but I don't know why I always get like Matt Breida vibes. That's the guy who always flashes to me. It's like Matt Breida is a really good runner, but dude can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, Chase Brown's not really the biggest dude. He's not tiny, but he's not the biggest dude. He didn't really, I mean, he did actually he did get a crazy workload in college, but yeah, I definitely have durability concerns with him. All right.
And then answer this. Royland, I guess, just jumped on. Yeah, so most rookie drafts, you're not going to do the snake because, the order is set by finish. In Dynasty, the order of the draft is set by how you finished the previous year, right? This is the same teams carrying over. And so you're going to have the pick based on the standings, and it continues. So the way whoever has, it's like the real NFL draft, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to say it. The team with the number 1 pick is also going to get the number 1 pick in round 2, number 1 pick in round 3. So that way it evens things out, right? The worst team gets the highest pick each round and vice versa. So that's how Dynasty is kind of awesome because it a little bit more mimics reality. So if you like a little reality with your fantasy, Dynasty is definitely the way to go.
Exactly. And that's what's fun about Dynasty versus redraft. If you're in your redraft league and it's week 10 and you're in last place and you're not going to make playoffs, I mean, you're really the only thing is you can either quit and say, okay, my season's over, or you can try to be spoiler, but that's not real. Like, let's be real. It's not like, ooh, ha, I spoiled. Like, okay, that's only fun for you. Like, okay, nobody like, whereas in Dynasty, you start looking ahead to next year, just like teams in the NFL, right? So you might have a Dynasty team. Maybe it's underachieving and maybe you have some aging studs and you're like, well, I need to start rebuilding. You can trade those studs away. You can start reloading for next year. You're going to have high draft picks. Yeah, that's what makes it fun. Is like you're never out of it. Even when you're out of it, you're not out of it.
Right. All right. So, yeah, we're looking forward to you also joining Dynasty. Appreciate that. We're going to throw it up one last time. Already said it, but if you missed it, check out all the things you have access to there. I saw some questions, some people on the clock, like Edward. We can answer that question if you join. Get in the Discord and get more feedback on that rather than right now because that's a pretty lengthy, but also have to really think about that question.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week for more mock drafts. And hopefully we'll see you in the Discord and on the site.